What's going on, folks? Chris with Journals, Comics, and Pop Culture. If you don't know, now you know. We're here today discussing the C2E2 controversy. I'm going to let some folks get in. Guys, I'm going to go. I didn't grab some water. I'm going to be talking up like I always do. I'm going to go grab some water. I'll be right back. I'm back, folks. Woo! Tripping over stuff here. Here we go. Had to grab me some water. All right, we're going to let some folks get in. And we're going to talk about this, guys. Now, I do have limited time because we got Comic Book Canon coming up, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern over on the Comic Book Canon YouTube. I hope to see you guys there. It's going to be a great show. We have an amazing announcement. Carbo, what's going on? Jason, what's going on? Funhouse, what's going on? Nukes. We'll give it about 3 minutes before we get into the topic. A couple more minutes to let some folks get in. MA3, what's going on? A lot to talk about, guys, and we're just gonna scratch the surface today. We're not even gonna get to where we need to get today. That's Como. What's going on, Como? It has been a weekend. Absolutely. Raising Elm, Ben, Blackout. What's going on, Blackout? Brick Gaming. 3 Men in a Basement. What's going on? Comic Book 1962. What a great year for comic books. Sag. What's going on, Sag? 1913. Actual Dracula. What is going on? All right, folks. Let's give it about one more minute. One more minute. Fight the good fight. What's up? Before we get into this. And I'm telling you guys, I'm going to tell you right now. I want everyone to be respectful in the comments. Everybody's going to agree on this. Hopefully we can find some middle ground, but I'm sure we're going to have some disagreements. And if anybody gets ugly, you're the epitome. You're just provoking the epitome of what I'm trying to, squash. So nobody's going to be getting out of line. Nobody's going to be calling people names or doing anything like that. Most of us are grown adults, I would assume, if not all of us. So that's how we have to handle ourselves today, guys. All right. One more minute. Andre, what's going on, Andre? Old man, how? Unbreakable. What is up? Tyler, what's going on, Tyler? Again, I do want to remind you guys, we have Comic Book Canon live tonight. I don't have the link in the below. This wasn't a promotion. I don't have any banners going below today. I don't have any links below because I'm not here to promote anything through this video. This is purely a discussion that needs to be had for the betterment of this community. But I do want to let you guys know we're going to run about 45 minutes because I do have to go get ready for my Comic Book Canon show on our Comic Book Canon YouTube. I do hope to see you guys there if you're not familiar with our weekly Comic Book Canon show. All right, Remy, what's going on, Remy? Okay, let's get into this, folks. Like I said, we're going to scratch the surface today, and that's about it. And I do plan on having another discussion, a live discussion next week. And I'm going to try to get as many people as I can in this discussion. I want other YouTubers, content creators. I'm going to reach out. To people that work for the company. Anybody that wants to come on that is close to this situation, I'm going to invite, and we're going to have a roundtable discussion. Now, let me just give you guys a little backtrack. We're going to backtrack here to what's going on, how I found out about it, and we're going to lead into where I'm at right now in the multiple layers of issues that I need to address. First, if you aren't aware, this is a C2E2 convention situation here where Black Flag Comics had what they, I guess, call, I guess they were, I don't know if they called it an exclusive. Don't put words in my mouth. But it was an acetate, one of those. I wish I would have brought one to show you guys. It's one of those clear film covers. They did this a lot in the 90s where, you have the standard cover and you have the acetate on top, and it has certain designs that adds to the actual cover. So I guess they had some of those made. They made them themselves. They stapled in this acetate plastic, and they put like an American flag on it, stars and stripes, and said USA on top of a facsimile UF4 Creighton Crane variant comic book. Most likely, I'm going to assume that Black Flag, being that they are a comic book dealer and they deal with exclusive variants and so forth, they order directly from Marvel these, Creighton Crane exclusives, and which came out like a long time, months ago when that it might even been last year when that Ultimate Fallout 4 came out, the facsimile. It was a Clayton Crane exclusive. They probably sold them on their site, probably, because I don't know all the details. And they ended up taking, according to them, 750, if I'm not mistaken, and putting this acetate on it. They stapled it on themselves. I do believe it was added staples, which means added holes. And it was a C2E2 exclusive, meaning they weren't selling it anywhere else. Okay? You had to go to the show and line up to buy one. No online pre-sales, no nothing like that. So I started hearing about this, and the first thing that I heard was a random Facebook post in a comic book Facebook group. Now, most of us know that these groups tend to be extremely toxic. Another thing that we know is that anytime people have a complaint about something, it's usually very one-sided, and it's usually driven by emotion, right? It's hard to believe anybody's disgruntled story of a situation. Not to say that somebody would be lying, but when you're addressing something within your emotions like that, and when it's your own perspective, it's not going to be the total truth, and that's just how it is. That's just how it is. It's just a fact of a matter for the most part. There's always another side to the story that will add context. So when I read this person, they were talking about, I was in line and there were influencers and YouTubers cutting in line and going up and grabbing as many copies as they want. And it was unfair to us waiting in line. And the thing that I felt when I was reading this was, okay, I'm not even going to address this. I'm not even going to address this because you don't know what could be going on. This is one person. You don't know where in line they were. And were they listening? Did they hear Black Flag like talking, having conversations with these influencers? And like, how do they know the details? So, okay, I don't think they're lying. Maybe they saw something and they're like, this doesn't seem right. You got a huge line. They sold out after like an hour. So you're seeing maybe, oh, I recognize that person from whatnot, or I recognize that person from YouTube. And you're seeing them walk away with a stack of these, UF4 acetate books. Okay, sure. Valid to me. What's going on? I've been waiting here for an hour. And then I get up here only to find out that there's none left. What? Okay, I get it. But the one thing, and then a big shout out to Bronze Age Nerd. And I'm not throwing him under the bus. We've been talking privately back and forth. He did a video discussing the issue with the book itself, which is a whole other story. Like, did they have licensing with Marvel to do this? Was Marvel aware? Which, according to Bronze Age, I don't know myself, but according to Bronze Age, he had somebody close to the situation that did confirm that Marvel was not aware. Whether this is a trademark issue or a licensing issue, I don't know. That's a whole other conversation. CGC giving it a green label, though, or a blue label 10.0 for a book that has added staples and new holes put in, that's a whole other conversation as well. But let's get to the conversation at hand, which is the issue of what Black Flag was doing, giving out books to supposed influencers and content creators and so forth. Bronze Age did a video on this, and he was very humble, as he always is. It's what I like about Bronze Age Nerd. He's always very cool, calm, and collect when he presents things. And he even brought up, he played a bit of devil's advocate. He didn't say that this person is 100% right and I'm picking up the pitchforks. He presented the situation, said this could be an issue. This is one person on Facebook. But I left the comment stating that this is why I'm hesitant to even address this issue, is this. The first thing that came into my mind when I saw this, and I saw other content creators on Instagram and YouTube talking about this as being an issue, I said, I know exactly what's going to happen. I know exactly what's going to happen of this. Now, before I answer you or answer myself of what I thought was going to happen, let me preface and say this. From what I know now about what Black Flag was doing, there is valid reasons to question if this is ethical. There is valid reasons to say, I don't, this doesn't sit right with me. I feel like this is possibly riding a fine line of ethics. Okay? Want to make that clear. But when this Facebook post started going around of this one random person saying Black Flag is, or influencers are cutting the line and getting as many copies as they want, the first thing that came into my head was this. I know exactly what's going to happen. You're going to have the loud people on YouTube and on Instagram thinking, maybe they're thinking that what they're doing is out of good intent. Maybe they think they're being the heroes in the situation, calling out injustices in the comic book hobby. Some of them, I think, are just a-hole trolls that are bored and miserable human beings. But I knew from the moment that I saw this that we're going to take this hearsay of information and we're going to start picking up the pitchforks and pointing fingers. And who are we going to point fingers at? I'll show you right now. And I knew it. I knew it. And I've been a victim of this already, simply because of that number that's next to my subscribers. Simply because I have X amount of subscribers, I've been a victim of this type of hate just because of the success or the notoriety of the channel, et cetera, et cetera. So I knew exactly what was going to happen. And this is exactly what happened right away. Not even 24 hours into it. And I don't know if you guys could see that there, but this is from Batcave.comics Instagram. And I have no problem calling out Batcave. Here's the funny thing. Sometime back, I made a couple videos talking about key collectors wrong. I disagree with them. I still disagree with them on these things. I made these videos. You guys probably know this. You watch my channel. No disrespect to key collector. Appreciate what they do. But I disagree with this. I think this is a problem. I think they're wrong. And here's why. And what was it about? How they defined certain first and second appearances on their app. Okay? And I get passionate. I get animated. But it's all love at the end of the day. And what happened? Batcave Comics was one of those that rallied around me. Yeah, death to key collector. Shame key collector. They're manipulating the market. He was just one of the many few. And I learned so much during this period because I realized, and I did a whole stream on intent versus perception. It didn't matter what my intent was. These people perceive things one way and they're going to roll with it. And I had to come back. There were people that saw my video and came in my comments making personal attacks on Nick with Key Collector, like threatening harm to Nick because I disagree with how they labeled Mary Jane's first appearance. So I had to come back and say, nope, I am not you. I do not stand with you. I do not stand with this pitchfork mentality. Yep. Sacto, I agree. We're going to get to this, guys. We're going to look, like I prefaced before, there's an issue here. There is an ethics issue here with what Black Flag is doing. And I have no qualm calling that out. And Jason with the company, anybody with Black Flag that wants to come and have a platform and have a no spin conversation here on my channel, you are welcome. Reach out to me. Anybody that is affiliated with them, reach out to me. You can come on my channel, and I'm not going to sit here and bash you. I'm going to give you the floor, and we're going to have an open, honest conversation. I hope that can happen. But I'm going to get to that in a minute. Because while I believe there is an ethics issue, there is an issue with what Black Flag did. And I know what they did now because Jason with the company came on social media and admitted to what he was doing. And thank you for him being honest. But his honesty proved this borderline ethics issue, right? But I can't just sit here and talk about my issues with what Black Flag is doing because this is just as bad. This is just as bad. And let me read you what Bat Cave Comics wrote. Since no one wants to name names, I'll go ahead and name a few regarding that exclusive Ultimate Fallout 4 release by Black Flag Comics. And who do we have? Who is he putting on blast? Nerdy Girl, Comic Tom, Skeleton Keys, Golden Age Guru, and Comic Pops, Rage, and I don't know this one. I don't know who. I'm not familiar with them. And this is exactly what I knew was going to happen. How convenient is it? How convenient is it for any time there may be something unethical? And again, rightfully so. These pitchforkers want to come and attack people just because they have a following. The irony, and I know this from Skeleton Keys Instagram, and I hope they don't mind me, Sammy and Tony. I believe this was from their Instagram, and I hope they don't mind me sharing it, but I needed it for context. And they weren't even there. I don't know about anyone else, but they weren't even there. Now, if any of those content creators or sellers, some of them are content creators and sellers, if any of them did get a stack of these books, I'm not even trying to point a finger at them, because I think there's a bigger issue here. And if any of them did, I would love to have an open-ended conversation where I'm not pointing a finger at anyone, but I'm having a respectful conversation to allow them to put themselves in somebody else's shoes and see why them benefiting from this is problematic. And again, I'm going to talk about this, but I want to continue. I mean, we still have a good 30 plus minutes here of this stream, so I'm going to talk about this issue a little more. Batcave.comics blocked me on Instagram a while back after championing me, but when he realized that I'm not about the hate, I want to hold people accountable. I'm always about holding people accountable, but I want to do so in a productive way, not in a counterproductive way. And all people like him want to do, they don't want to be productive. They want clout. And guess what? The funny thing about these people that sit here and say death to flippers, they're sitting on 20 copies of that hot spec book as well. They're doing the same damn thing. And I've talked about this on my channel before. They're doing the same damn thing. They're showing it on their Instagram, 20 copies of this, that they're not doing the same thing that they're saying Comic Tom is guilty of when he's doing a hot video and Key Collector has a spotlight on it. Come on, man. Maybe you're just mad because you only have 400 followers on the gram. Batcave.comics, come. I'm telling you what right now. I don't even want to sit in a box with you. You can. And if anybody wants to jump in this show right now, I will give you the StreamYard link. Anybody that wants to get into this show right now, if you disagree with me or you want to call me out, I will give you, I'm going to copy and paste it right now. Copy and pasted this invite link. Anybody want to come up on here that thinks that name dropping people. They have no evidence. You have no evidence. You're calling out people that weren't even there. These are people that work hard to earn their money. This is their livelihood. They have families, they have children, they have bills to pay and mouths to feed. And you want to come up on Instagram like you're some type of comic book community savior, and you want to troll. You want to take food out of their mouth. Batcave.comics. I will take money from my savings right now and buy you a plane ticket to come out here and sit on this couch with me right here and tell me what you have to say. I ain't bullshitting either. I gave these people in this little group of people that scratch each other's backs, that need validation, I gave them the benefit of the doubt, because it's funny at the core that they use, like, I'm a champion of the community. They act like they're championing this just cause. And I allow myself, when I first hopped onto the Instagram, I'm like, oh man, that's right. I'm gonna stand up against this too. But as soon as I realized what their real intent was, that's when they cut me off. As soon as I hit like 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, it started changing. That ain't no lie either. That ain't no lie. I've had people that have been supporters of my channel since I had 500 subscribers that recently, after I hit 10K on YouTube, came at me saying, all you talk about is speculation. And the irony of this, guys, the irony of this, go look back over the last 6 months on my channel and tell me how many videos I have talking about spec. I used to release at least 2 spec books a week, at least, spec videos, where in my spec videos are like top 10 X-Men keys to buy or to invest in, or top 50 under 50 to invest in. I used to do at least 2 a week. I haven't done one in, I mean, I did a Secret Wars one, and I did one like a month ago. I'm maybe doing one a month at this point. But yet you want to come and tell me I'm just all about spec now. Why? Because you look at my sub count? I'm telling you, if you guys have a problem with Black Flag and what they did, you need to have a problem with Batcave Comics and people like this doing what they're doing, because it doesn't solve anything. It solves nothing. It creates a divide, and it's all for clout chasing. That's it. It's a circle jerk to get off, to feel like they are validated in this community. It's high school. It's high school. Grown-ass men. Batcave.comics. Unblock me. Don't hide. Unblock me. Hit me up. I will buy you a plane ticket. You can come to my home. You can sit on this couch with me. I will cook you food. We can break bread. You can stay here and we can talk about it. So again, having an issue with what Black Flag is doing, or what they appear to be doing, is one thing. Throwing people under the bus with no evidence of who was involved, simply because people are out here having success, trying to feed their families and pay their bills, is some coward ass shit. some hide behind your screen, coward ass shit. Don't block me and run. Coward ass shit. And at the end of the day, no matter how I feel about Black Flag Comics doing what they're doing, this is worse. This is worse. Why? Why? Because you're posing as something that you're not. I'm going to give you an example, and then we're going to talk about my issues and my real concerns with Black Flags. But I'm going to give you a metaphor. Excuse me. I'm going to give you guys a metaphor here. Black Flags doing what they're doing is seemingly to be unethical, yes. People on Instagram and on YouTube picking up pitchforks and pointing fingers and name dropping people that had nothing to do with it is worse. Here's why. Hip hop, rap music, right? Rap music. I am a rapper, or in my past life, I was. I got to rock with individuals that I grew up listening to. I toured, made music, and did that as a full-time job. I remember coming of age when I went through my teenage years being a juvenile delinquent, doing some dumb shit. Robbing and stealing and smoking and drinking and looking at nothing but a jail cell or a freaking grave. When I woke up from my slumber, I put away my music, rap music in general. I tried to open my mind and get clean and crisp. When I came back to hip hop, I really clung to what is called conscious hip hop. Conscious hip hop. Well, what is conscious hip hop? Well, it's like, conscious hip hop for the people, building up the people, revolutionary hip hop with a message, peace, love, whoop, whoop, whoop. We're not talking about gang banging and killing fools and drinking and smoking and pimping broads and over sexualizing females and guns and dope. No, we're talking about real, spiritual positivity, right? I'm on some enlightened-ish. I got into the scene thinking that this is my calling. This is what hip-hop is all about. Conscious hip-hop with a message. And I got around people, right? I started hanging with crews that were like, yeah, conscious hip-hop. Yo, love, respect, peace, love, harmony. Yo, black power. I'm for the revolution. I'm for the cause. I'm for the people, right? But you know what they do? You know what a lot of these people do? When they get on stage or they get in front of a camera or in a booth, rapping, recording in the booth, they put a facade on, right? They put a facade on. It's like politicians. You think politicians go up there and talk like this and we're going to do what we can. I promise you this. If you get my vote, we're going to... Shut up, right? Facades are see-through like promises from presidents. That's the line I spit in a bar once. Anyways, conscious hip-hop, I started seeing through it. They get off stage, that whoop, 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 they're kicking. They're as shady and shiesty as anyone else. It's a facade. It's fake. They ain't living that life. Just like, yo, I killed 5 dudes yesterday and I was dealing dope. Pimping these hoes. Just like so many people that are studio gangsters get in the booth, get on stage, and they're talking that thug life. They're talking that gang life, and they ain't living it. Right? So what's worse? You got people selling dope, guns, pimping, right? Genocide, black brothers killing black. Or you have people selling conscious positivity, peace, love, and revolution. What's worse? Let me get some folks. What do you guys think is worse? Both of them are facades. Both of them are fake. It's an image. gang banging studio gangster rap, or I'm conscious hip hop rap, African Zulu up in here. Both are fake, but what's more detrimental to the culture? What is more detrimental to? So again, I'm going to relay this back to comic books. What's more detrimental to comic books in this community, in this hobby? What is more detrimental to hip hop as a community, as a culture? And I'm going to tell you right now, the fake conscious rappers are more detrimental. They are worse. And here's why. I'm going to tell you why. 99% of those studio gangsters, they come from that life. They may not have lived that life, and they may be glorifying that life to get money in their pocket so they can get a record deal. But they come from that life. They don't know no better. They grew up around that. They think this is what's going to sell. I'm going to get out of the hood. So I'm going to talk about pimping and bitches and hoes and dealing dope and killing my brothers and sisters. They don't know no better. They want out of that life. But when you got folks that are actually conscious of what they are doing. So let me ask you this. What is worse? The wolf that exposes his fangs, or the wolf that wears the skin of sheep? What is worse? I will ask it again. If you are out in the wild, in the wilderness, and you see a wolf showing his fangs, are you going to be more prepared seeing that, or seeing a wolf that wears the skin of sheep? And let me tell you, it ain't the wolf showing his fangs, because you have an advantage. The wolf that wears the skin of sheep has an advantage against you. Do y'all see the point I'm making? Back to comic books. Now, is what Black Sand's doing maybe unethical? These are the people that wear the skin of sheep. Oh, not these people. This person right here that is calling out these people and shaming these people. Batcave.comics wears the skin of sheep. That's why it is more detrimental. That's why I'm ranting and raving. You guys are like, Chris, but what about what Black Flag is doing? That's so bad, it's so wrong. This is wrong because they're acting like they're championing the hobby. They do not have your best interest. They do not have your best interest. Because once they feel that they can get an upper hand to validate themselves against you, they will turn their backs on you and do the same thing to you, just like they did me. These are the type of people that don't want another man or another woman to have success. And they hide behind the skin of sheep. They hide behind the argument of, I'm doing this for the community. I'm doing this for the average collector. They hide behind that shit. It ain't real. Come at me. So, I'm going to step. I don't want anyone to go anywhere. I'm going to step aside for about 30 seconds. You guys can drop some comments because I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back in about 30 seconds. I'm going to read some comments. And then I am going to go into a little bit of my issue with Black Flag and what they're doing. And then I'm going to close the door for today because we're going to come back next week. I'm going to hopefully have some guests and we're going to talk about it more. I will be right back in about 30 seconds. All right, folks. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Um, there was a raffle. They had one left. Huh. Interesting. Rooster. All right, guys. Okay, so we got about 10 minutes left here, and I do want to address the issue of Black Flag. Okay, I do. I'll say one more time. Look, guys. Anybody that thinks that, and I know I know I just went on a tangent, just because I know these people's intent. If there are people that truly do have the intention of holding people accountable, that's valid. Just make sure you got to do your best not to pick up the pitchfork mentality. Okay, you have to. You got to do your best to be a reporter, a detective on the scene where you gather the proper data, the proper information, and base an argument on such. All right. Now, if you watch Jason from Black Flag's video, he actually adds context. And I'll say it again. I give the guy props for what seemed to be honest. I'm gonna assume he was honest, but in his own words, he kind of shot himself in the foot, because I don't think what he's doing is right. So basically, and I'll try to get right what he said. I'm not going to verbatim speak to everything he said, but he basically said that before C2E2 happened, he was in communication with people that support him. That's what he said. People that support him, whether they're individuals that sell on Whatnot or whether they're individuals that have YouTube channels, I don't know. And he basically said that he took money from them. So nobody was cutting lines, but there were books that were set aside for certain individuals that had already paid him. Now, while I'm happy to know that nobody was cutting lines, that's still getting special treatment. Now, my thing was this: oh, well, what's wrong with that? He's pre-selling them, but I found out that these books were not available for pre-sale to the public. If you have people going to a con and you're promoting a con exclusive that's only available at that con, and it goes on sale at 9 a.m. or whenever they open up the booth, and you're pre-selling to buddies or people that support you or whatever, I don't care who it is, that's not okay. And for me, it's that simple. It's not right. And again, all the people that benefited from this, I'm not saying that they're necessarily innocent in this, but I wouldn't accept it. If I was friends with who I don't know, like anybody. I mean, say I knew Jason with Black Flag, and we had a working relationship, and he reached out to me and was like, yo, I got these con exclusives, only 750 that I'm dropping for this con. There's going to be no pre-sales. You can't get them anywhere but at the place. But I mean, I'll set some aside for you. Just pay me up front, shoot me a PayPal or Cash App, and I'll hold some for you. You know what? I would tell him no. I would tell him no. It would be one thing. It would be one thing if he had, and again, I'm not even saying if this is ethical or not, but it'd be one thing if he, like, say he pressed up 775 copies, right? And he had 25 buddies or people that support him, and he wanted to give one to. Maybe he even wanted to give it to him, give them away, and not sell them. And it's just one copy. Okay, because it's giving me, if they want to sell and flip that one copy, fine, but you're not giving them 5, 10, 20 copies and selling them to make your money. You see what I'm saying? But even there's this gray area, right? So he admitted to doing this. And then he admitted to doing another thing, which was a big question mark for me. He admitted to saying that he was going to have a influencer line where they could get 10 copies each. And if I'm not mistaken, he said in the standard customer line, they were only limited to 2 copies each. First off, no matter what they were limited, even if he was limiting them to 2 copies each or whatever, why would there be an influencer line? Why? No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. So the logic makes no sense. What he was doing, there's a lot of parallels to insider trading. And here's the big issue with these exclusives already. You know, first off, we are assuming that he did not have permission from Marvel to make these acetate covers. He could have made more than 750. We don't know how many he made. And we know that when people do exclusive, like store variants and stuff like that, there's the limited. There's like, what, 3,000 for Marvel, I think. And we know that a lot of people say limited to 500. Like they say that they rip up a bunch of them just to make them more scarce. Then they can supposedly sell them for a higher price point, hoping to make a larger profit because they're so scarce and the demand is going to be so increasingly large compared to the supply. People are going to go crazy over them. How do we trust these people? And that's another bigger issue here. How do we even trust these people in the first place? And I'm not saying that there's none of these people can be trusted. That's not what I'm implying, but there's no regulating this. Nobody's regulating the market. Nobody. Somebody, I thought about doing my own Journos Comics exclusive, right? So say I did that one day and I get 3,000 copies from, it's a Marvel exclusive variant. And I say there's only 1,000 available. That means I would have to destroy 2,000 of them, right? But what if I destroy 1,000 and I keep another 1,000? But I'm still telling you that I only have 1,000. There's only 1,000 in existence. And we sell through the 1,000, right? And then what if I have a buddy that has a eBay store and I tell him to put one of these books up a month, only one a month, and we can split the profits? That this is I'm supposedly sold out and they're all gone, right? So I don't have any more. Anybody affiliated with Journos doesn't have any more. And the only books that are being sold are people that bought them from Journos and now might want to flip them on the secondary market. So I was selling them for $50 each. Now they're going for $150, $200, $250 each because they're sold out. You can't get them anywhere else. And there's only a few coming up at a time on eBay. And I got this one guy that I got this relationship with that we're partnering and we're splitting the profits of this extra 1,000 that I'm sitting on that aren't supposed to exist. And we're selling one a month. And we sell them for $250. And I'm bringing in $100+ in my pocket every month extra for the next 1,000 months. How do we know? We don't. There is nothing regulating this at all. That right there is a problem in and of itself. Air Spider, I can tell you who has them. Okay, remember what I said earlier. You want to tell me who you think has them? You better have proof. Because if you come on here saying that it's people just because they have a big YouTube channel, and like I said, just because certain influencers or sellers have them now, I'm not even holding them fully accountable. I'm not. I'm holding Black Flag accountable for handling a business practice like this. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't buy them the way that some of these people supposedly bought them. But I mean, If he was selling them like that, I mean, can you blame the sellers? Can you blame them? That's why it's gray. It's a gray area. So I don't think if you, again, it's this simple for me. And this has nothing to do with anybody that purchased the books. Lords of the Long Box, thank you guys for hanging out, being here. I've been around the game since 2015. Stuff like this happens all the time. Community drama pretty much happens at least once a year with the advent of different social media platforms. Absolutely. Absolutely. But here's the thing. Like, for Jason of Black Flag to come out and say what he did, it tells me that we have culturally accepted this type of practice. He doesn't think that he's doing anything wrong. Like I said, at least he seemed to be honest. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you are selling pre-orders of an exclusive book, you need to be making it available for pre-order to the general public, or you shouldn't do it at all. It's that simple. If you're selling at a con, you shouldn't have a influencer line and a standard customer line at all. What justifies you to give these people the handout, so to say? That's not right. It's not right. Nobody should get special treatment because you distort the market. Because, and I'm going to tell you, and we're going to start wrapping up here, but I'm going to say this. This was advertised and publicized as a 750 print run available to the public only at C2E2. So that right there stipulates the demand, right? People sat, when this was, consumers and customers and collectors based their response, whether they were going to show up that day, whether they were willing to pay for this book, and whether they were going to stand in line for this book. The formulaic equation, the correlated equation of statistical analysis, when thrown thrown into a regression analysis algorithm, came out the way it did simply because of how it was pushed. And this is what I mean by this, for those that don't understand the math lingo or the statistical lingo that I'm spitting. If this was advertised and promoted as there's a 750 print run going on sale as soon as the booth opens, only a C2E2, but we're going to be selling X amount to influencers and sellers like beforehand, and they're going to be able to pick them up because they've already paid. If that was made public, I guarantee you the demand for this book would have shifted. The demand for this book would have shifted. It would have changed the amount of people willing to go there for that book. It would have changed the amount of people that would have stood in line waiting for that book. And it would have changed the demand of what people would have been willing to pay on the secondary market. It's a statistical fact. It's a ratio fact. It's a correlation fact. When you run specific variables into a regression analysis, what do you look for? You look for correlation. Does one thing change the outcome of another? Does throwing in one variable change the statistical outcome of another variable? And this information absolutely does. This is why it is so parallel to insider trading. And this is why it's wrong. 360, I agree. I don't even know why people want this book. It makes no sense for me, but hey, that's comics. People want what they like. So, again, AR, I hear you. JLS, yep. So, you guys know me if you watch my channel. I don't use this term lightly. I cringe when people use this term so much. Manipulating the market. But I have to let it go, and I have to tell you guys right now, if you what Black Flag did by stating there was going to be 750 of these books at door open or booth open on whatever day of C2E2 available for the general public, and 20, 40, 60, 100 copies or more were already sold to, I don't care who they were sold to. I don't care if it was influencers or his neighbor that grew up around the corner from him. I don't care who it was. By doing that, you absolutely manipulated and not just the market of the supply and demand that day, but it manipulated the market of what people are willing to do for this book, to get this book on the secondary market. Once the people that grabbed him that day take him to eBay, take him to whatnot, etc., etc. And what I mean by manipulating the market is exactly what I was just talking about the correlation, a regression analysis that you throw in different variables to see if it'll change the correlation in the outcome of one variable to the next. And that's exactly what doing something like this did. And I'm not saying this to paint Black Flag as being some evil entity in this community, in this hobby. They offer those that like exclusive variants. I've seen their website. They offer great product. And I'm definitely not I'm not trying to blackball anybody that got those, that had books set aside, whether they're a whatnot seller or a YouTuber. I don't care. I'm not mad at you. I encourage you to try to understand why this is a problem. All right. Please, if anybody is watching right now that benefited from getting a stack of these books, because you may know Jason, and you guys talked, he was like, hey man, I mean, you could pay me right now and I'll set 5-10 books aside. If you are one of those people, I'm not mad at you. I'm not blackballing you. I'm not shaming you. I don't think you're a bad person, but I encourage you to try to take yourself out of your own position, put yourself in another person's shoes, and see how this is a bit of a problem. And maybe, and I know you guys are just trying to sell and make money and pay bills yourselves and all this, but you knew about the stock before it went public. You knew about the stock before it went public because you had information that you shouldn't have had, and you had access to the information that you shouldn't have had access to, because at the end of the day, influencers, YouTubers, whatnot sellers, or Joe Schmo from around the corner that just collects comic books, when it comes to the consumer market, we are no different. We are the same. Just like when a politician votes, just because you are a congressman, when you vote for president, your vote shouldn't matter any different. As consumers, we are all the same, with the same access to this product, and that's how it should be handled. And that's my issue with what happened at C2E2. And like I said, I think it's a cultural thing. I think that we think that this is okay. And I think, and that's why I said this type of stuff from Batcave Comics, it's counterproductive because first off, Batcave didn't even address Black Flag. Like, address Black Flag. Like, if you think they did something wrong, no, you just want to come out and blackball the same people you've been blackballing just because you're mad at them for having success. It doesn't, we don't have a conversation. We can never have a conversation because all you're doing is trolling and being a narcissist. I want to have a conversation with Black Flag. I don't want to shame them. I don't want to ridicule them. I don't want to blackball them. I want to have a conversation. I want us to be able to sit down, break bread, and say, I guarantee you that Jason and whoever else, I'm sure they're good people. Most of us are good people. We have issues. I'm sure Batcave Comics is somewhere in there a good person. It's sad. He seems to be like, I think he's a very miserable person, and that's sad. Who wants to live their life like that? But there's got to be some good in him. We can never get over this stuff and push forward until we can have a conversation. I would like to sit down with Black Flag and say, why do you think this is what I think is problematic? Why do you think this is okay? And let's talk about it. Let's get some of these people that bought some of these books and talk about it. Like, are you conscious of why people may look at this as being something that's unethical? Can you show some compassion and humble yourself to at least try to see the other side of the coin? And let's have a conversation. Just another collector. Why Black Flag? First off, who is my influencer? Who are my buddies? Who are you saying are my buddies? Why Black Flag? Because Black Flag is the one that made the comic and committed to selling multiple copies to his buddies before they were available to the public. Why Black Flag? Sorry to get loud, just another collector. I don't mean to be yelling at you. I'm just saying, it's like, come on. But in just another collector, maybe I'm wrong, but because I'm just reading your words. I'm taking this as being very cynical. I'm taking this as a passive aggressive. Well, talk to your influencer buddies. Like, I don't have, who are my influencer buddies? I truly want to know, who are my buddies? I do what I do. I do what I do. I don't have buddies. I respect everybody equally. If somebody does something that I disagree with, I'm going to tell them. Mad respect. I got mad respect for Comic Tom. Tom is a man that does what he does and he's successful, like him or not. He gets so much hate, and it's disgusting. But I recently disagreed with something that he said in a video. And I commented on that video. It said, respectfully, Tom, love you, but I disagree with this. Does that mean I need to pick up a pitchfork and... No, I love what he does. He is a good human being working hard to do what he does. Nick with Key Collector, I had to convince him that I'm not some bad monster, and I don't think he is. And we started building a relationship, but I disagree with some of the stuff that he did, and I still do. I don't need to be a yes man. I don't sit here and suck up the people and censor myself because I have influencer buddies because I want clicks and views. Okay, so now are you contradicting yourself? Come in here, so you have a problem with the influencers involved, but now you're sticking up for Black Flag? Look, if Black Flag, that would be like a stockbroker saying, I got stocks to sell, justifying insider trading. Bullshit. If you as a businessman, I'm gonna tell you all straight up right now, take note. If you as a businessman have to sit here and worry about making money off your investment, maybe you shouldn't be investing your money in your business. If you are Black Flag Comics, then obviously I would like to know your quarter profit and loss sheet, because they've been making money. They've been successful. You're telling me that you want to sit here and staple some sheets to a book and sell them 750 copies, and you can't look at your cost benefit analysis, and you need to cut corners to make, you need to tell me that you're going to justify cutting corners because, well, I need to make money. Please, cry me a river. Cry me a river. I take losses all the time. Whose fault is it? Mine. I take losses on whatnot because, one, maybe I paid too much for the comics that I'm selling, and two, maybe I started my starting bid too low. If I don't want to lose money, you know what I could do? I could stop paying top dollar for what I buy. And secondly, I don't need to start my auctions at $1. I could start them at $5. And if nobody wants to buy them, oh well, that's what I'm doing. I need to make money. Nah, man. Nah. You need to make money? Be a good businessman. Don't overextend yourself. It's like these 1 in 100 variants. You got retailers that cry about, I will never be able to get the 1 in 100 variant. It's unfair. Well, run a business where you can sell hundreds of copies of cover A. I know plenty of LCSs out there that can sell hundreds of copies of cover A and have no problem getting the 1 in 100 variants. If you are a retailer that buys hundreds of copies just to get your hands on a couple of 1 in 100 incentive variants, and then you cry because you're sitting on all these hundreds of copies of cover A that you can't sell, that's bad business, and that's on you, because nobody told you to go spend more money than you have to where you got all this inventory sitting that you can't move, and now you need to close your doors, and then you blame it on the economy. Or you blame it on the fact that nobody buys comic books anymore. Wham. I'm sorry, man. I got no compassion for this shit anymore. None. Cry me a river. Handle your business. Jason for Black Flag was talking up. He was in his live stream. Man, everybody loves Black Flag Comics. We sell out every time. But you got dozens and dozens of people standing in line an hour after you launch wanting the book, but you're going to sit and use the excuse that I need to recoup. I need to make sure I recoup. So I'm going to cut corners. And no, I don't want to hear. If you're a stockbroker and you need to push some insider trading in order to make money, you're in the wrong business. Bounce. Go flip burgers, man. If you can't flip 750 of your comics that you decided to invest money in to get them produced, go stand on the corner and bump for change. Well, guys, we're gonna wrap up here, guys, because I gotta get ready for a live show. Like I said, stop throwing people's names in your mouth. I want to give a big shout out to everybody that was. I don't even care if some of these people got some of these books. I don't care if some of these people were even some of the people that got some of these books. But this is wrong. So I'm going to give a special shout out to Skeleton Keys, because they weren't even there and they're getting their names dragged through the mud. Nerdy Girl, I think she was there. Maybe she got some of these books. I don't care. I'm going to give her a shout out too, because that's not the point. and I'm always open to talk to Danielle about her perspective on things, because I know she's going to be an honest person. Tom, Guru, Comet Pops, Theo. I don't even care, dude. I don't care. You don't stop it. Stop putting people's names in your mouth, thinking that you're doing something for the community, but really you're just chasing clout. With that being said, guys, I really appreciate everyone joining me today. We are going to have a roundtable discussion about this, guys. Look for that sometime next week. I'm going to be out of town for a few days here. We're going to come back next week. We're going to reconvene, and I want everybody here there. I want to talk about this. If you guys are interested in coming on that show, if you guys, and you don't got to be a content creator, but maybe you work in the industry in some form or fashion. Maybe you got your ears to the streets, whatever it is. If you want to be on that show, reach out to me. Hit me up on IG. Send me an email, Captain Journo Comics @gmail. But until then, I'm about to head over and get ready for Comic Book Canon. I'll see you guys. Be well. Be good to yourselves. Be good to others. Peace.